Hi everyone, it's Tawney. In today's video, as you can tell by the thumbnail / title, I am just doing a casual get ready with me chit-chatting. I wanted to film a video or two after this, and I thought I would also film me putting on my makeup and chit-chatting. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on in the world, in the United States, with influencers, with blah blah blah, so I just kind of thought share my thoughts and opinions on things while I put some makeup on. Because I haven't put makeup on in a while, and I was dying to do so since 12 o'clock today. Since I pretty much got done with all my work halfway through the day and was like, crap, what am I supposed to do the rest of the day? So, yeah, oh crap. My calendar, I just realized it sits right up there, is still on September. And it didn't even get switched to October, which I don't know how that happened. I remember to change it to September, probably because August was the worst month of my life, completely of my life, so there's that. But yeah, I don't know, I need to change it, because times are changing. I'm not going to talk about what I'm using. I might post it down below, I'm not quite sure. I get a little bit lazy, and then I also forget what I've used, and then I end up, I don't know. I just end up not posting that stuff down below. So that's just it's where we're at. Let's use Stay Matte because we can go a little bit dewier with the foundation and such. So I bought a crap ton of new makeup. I kind of treated myself almost. That's way too much, but we're gonna put it on my face anyway. Probably should not. Don't follow my makeup ability skills to a T at all times because I am not the best by any means, but what's happened lately in the world? I don't know where I was going with my where I was going originally. I've ordered a lot of stuff lately, and mostly to treat myself, to make me feel better. Shopping is one of those things that just puts me in a better mood, which is probably a bad thing because then I'm spending money and it's not, good for my bank account. But I have the money and I'm not using it for anything, so I'm gonna buy things because that's the best way, is to be financially stable, at your limits, respectively and whatnot, but buy your necessities, pay your bills, pay your rent or your mortgage or whatever, and then go and splurge on things with the remaining money, whatever. So I bought a couple things. I have a Poshmark site, which I always have the link in the description box down below, so you can check that out at all times. It will be down there. And I sell a lot of makeup that I don't want, and I don't get anything PR, so it's not, don't feel whatever. I'm selling all makeup that I have purchased myself, and it's typically makeup that I don't use, not so much that it's not good. I typically save the more drugstore type items for Facebook because people in the area will buy a collection of drugstore type products for one set fee, if that makes sense, a bunch of makeup for $40 or something like that, which I feel more comfortable selling it that way than on Poshmark and stuff, which is totally fine. Your preferences are different. You just have to know your audience, I guess. That's kind of my whole where I'm at. But I've been buying a lot of makeup on there. I always try and make sure the makeup is new. That's just my personal preference. You don't have to go that route when you're looking at makeup on Poshmark or on Depop. I think that's the other one. I've heard that one's a little bit fancier, bougie or whatever. I don't really know. I just go Poshmark because that's what I'm familiar with and what I use as a seller. But I buy products that are new, that say they've never been used or have been swatched. I'm okay with swatching, even though a brush is safer than your fingers. But if you've been using your brush multiple times, then not really. But I am okay with swatching and stuff because then I'll clean things off myself, at least to a place that I'm comfortable with putting them on my face. So it all kind of depends on your own preference. Definitely don't buy something if you don't feel it's going to be safe to use, or if you feel there's something sketchy. And I think Poshmark, and don't quote me on this, is one of those sites that if there's any issues with the product, you can return it. You can decline. I know that they always recommend that I accept products whenever I get them, that you have 24 to 36 to 72, I don't know however many. You have 1 to 3 days after getting the product. Pretty sure it's the timeline or something, that you can like accept or decline it. Like if it's not in the condition it was supposed to be in, or if it came broken, which I would always feel bad if I sent something that ended up getting broken while after, like whenever the person got it, it was broken, but it didn't look that way in the pictures. And my pictures, you can always tell that it's like me taking the pictures. I never post pictures that are like from the website or that are like the stock images, because they're not really realistic. But I just got a text from my mom about one of my favorite Hallmark people. But anyway, I would always feel bad if that happened, because that's not like so much the seller's fault, but they always say to like package your items appropriately, because they don't give you the package, they don't give you like packaging for it. And I always try and use bubble wrap. I bought bubble mailing like mailers so that it protects it, and then I don't have to worry about having the bubble wrap, which that's always a good thing. Just extra protection for me. But I'm really gravitating toward the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer lately. I'm not sure why, but I like moved it upward in my like drawer of concealers. It's like the first one I can reach, so maybe that's why. Maybe I'll have to like switch the order. But I've been buying a lot of makeup on there. I am gonna do a haul, I guess you could say, a haul of all the makeup that I've recently bought between Poshmark and other websites. But I have 2 items, and I'll talk about them here because like you can watch that video too. But I bought the Dominique Cosmetics Latte and Latte 2 palettes. I have been wanting those for a long time now, especially the first one. I just thought the colors were really pretty, and after watching Julia Mazzucati's videos where she talks about, or somebody talked about them and thought they were nice. I don't remember if it was her or not, but I've watched a lot of people recently that talked about it. But maybe she was decluttering it. I don't remember. But I remember looking at one of the eyeshadow palettes, either the first or the second latte, I'm not quite sure, that has like really nice browns. And I'm like, you know, it does have like a blue in it, but I could see myself using most of the palette, that I wouldn't mind having those extra shades that like maybe wouldn't get so much use, and I can always like depan them and like sell them as singles or something, or like give them to my sister if she wants them. But then I also got the second one because I remember when it came out, I was like, that's really pretty. And I really like that they're like more like, what's the word? Pastel. They're more pastel tones than your deep, like super bright pink and blue. So I think that's kind of cool. It's like a teal kind of color. I'm really excited for those to come in. They just got shipped like yesterday or the day before. So I'm like extra excited about that because like I'm just excited. I like makeup. That's just kind of my whole, I like makeup. I like buying makeup. That's really where I'm at. I'm gonna use the NYX HD finishing powder. It's in the banana shade. I haven't used this in a very long time, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use it. And I've hit pan on this. Yeah, there you can see it. I'm just gonna use this to brighten. But yeah, I've bought some makeup from Kaleidos. It says 21-day delivery. They are not lying to you. It is 21 days. That's how long it took for my makeup to get here. Pretty, like, give or take, it was pretty much 21 days, which I'm not mad about because, like, I picked that option, so I should have, you know, prepared myself for that. But I've been, like, so excited for it since the moment I ordered it, that the fact that it said it was going to take that long is just like, I don't want to wait, you know? But yeah, I've ordered some makeup. I thought about ordering some of the new ColourPop eyeshadows within like their Baroque collection because it looks really cool, but I'm not sure if I want to. I'm not like gravitating toward the way the palettes look or the theme or anything like that. Like that has nothing to do with why I want them. I just want them because I like the tones in the palette, which is the whole point. I'd rather collect makeup because I like the makeup than collect it for the collection, which is kind of like the whole Makeup Revolution and Friends collection. They literally just came out with part 1 like 2 weeks ago, and there was the big palette, the Monica, Phoebe, Rachel palettes, some lip products, the mirror, which I would consider getting the mirror because I feel like I would use it. Plus it's kind of cool, and even if I just like had it sitting somewhere, it's still kind of like it's a better collectible than I think the palettes would be. I thought the palette, how it was that little like action thing, I thought that was really cool. It wasn't really pertaining to the show in any way other than the fact that it was a show, but we wanted it to be more of like connecting with the thing, more of like the lobster stuff in the part 2. But I had no interest in picking it up. I hated the Monica, Phoebe, Rachel palettes. I just thought they were like, they looked chalky. They didn't look like they had put much effort into them formula-wise. It just kind of seemed like they were like, let's just put out a palette so we can make money off of it. And I hate when brands are kind of like money hungry in that aspect. And then I saw part 2 came out, and it again has more lip products. I think all of the first collection had liquid lips or lip glosses that had all of the people, including the guys' names. I'm not quite sure because I had no real interest in buying any of them. Which I hate whenever they do collections for things that I'm interested in, shows and movies and whatnot, and then the stuff is crap, and then it's like, you know, you got my hopes up. You have a collection of this stuff, and it's garbage. Like, anytime Hot Topic does stuff, I know that the quality is going to be, like, absolute trash. But then I'm just like, I feel like I need it because of the collection, you know? I saw that someone was coming out with an Office palette, and it's very yellows and purples, which is kind of different. And I'm honestly thinking of picking it up just to see how the quality is, but then also because it's, you know, The Office, which again is, you know, I hate that whole, but, so I don't know about that one, but that's something I have, like, it's saved in my phone, and I look at it and I'm like, I really need to get this. So I don't know, maybe I'll like consider it, because I think it's from a brand where it's like a $20 to $30 palette, which isn't my favorite like price. I prefer drugstore prices, but maybe I'll talk myself into getting something like that. I think it's like more of an indie brand. I saw it on like an ad either on Facebook or Instagram, which worries me because I've had a lot of people on my Facebook say they've had bad problems with like ordering things from makeup, like from brands through Facebook, and then like the stuff comes bad or broken or not what they ordered. I had someone order a Queen jacket and got a Beatles jacket, and whenever they complained, the website was like completely taken down because they were like outed as a frauded company. And she was like, I really have no one to complain to. There's nothing I can really do other than just hope that my order comes when it like how it was supposed to, you know. And it was just so messed up, and she's like, I'm never going to order from this again. And it's just, it's rough, honestly. Oh, I've been using this blush, the Clinique Cheek Pop in Melon Pop, for a while now. I'm not impressed, and I honestly think I wasted $25. I try and use it to like justify that I spent $25 on a blush, but it's not doing what I want it to do. And I have Rimmel ones that are $4 that work way better. So I'm quite disappointed. But anyway, I'm kind of excited for those. Not excited about the Friends collection. I saw they were doing a part 2 and it was like 2 weeks later, and I'm like, people, come on. Like, you're just getting money off of us. And then they didn't even have a chance to like promote the Nightmare Before Christmas. I had to think of what was it, the Nightmare Before Christmas collection. They barely had time to promote that because they were in the middle of all the Friends stuff. And it was like, give them a chance to like, because it came out in October, but like the end of October. So by the time you get it, it's like Halloween's over, you know. PR people could get it just fine, but not the people that, like your consumers and the people that are going to buy it. You know, your PR people, it's great that they can get it beforehand and promote it, but you're giving it to them for free, you know. So that doesn't really like make any sense to me. But I think they should have given that palette more time to shine, basically. But yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit of release fatigue from ColourPop, and I hate saying that because I always hate whenever people talk about getting that, because I'm like, oh, come on, it's ColourPop, like their stuff's cheap, you know, you don't have to buy it, blah, blah, blah. Well, they keep coming out with palettes that like aren't really thought out. Like, I feel like this Baroque palette is like somewhat thought out, at least in terms of like the palette theme and the way it looks on the outside, not so much the like colors on the inside. And while their formula is one that they don't ever have to change between palettes, it's just kind of the same formula. They just take different like finishes. Like they might put a glitter instead of, you know, a semi matte, which they don't ever admit that they do, but they do. But like, I don't know. I just kind of feel like there wasn't much thought put into that one, and I'm starting to feel that way about a lot of their collections. Like the Sunflower collection, everybody raved about that, but it didn't feel like there was much like you know, they were just like, oh, let's throw a bunch of mats and call it a sunflower collection and like get some money. And it's like, no, like, you know, I don't know. I feel like they did with the Baby Yoda collection. I feel like that's one that they really put a lot of thought, especially color theme wise. I know a lot of people were interested in the color scheme. I am, but I'm not interested in Baby Yoda. Like, I'm not a fan at all. Haven't watched the whatever the show's called because I don't have Disney Plus. So, and I'm not a big Star Wars fan either. So I have like no interest. And I was gonna get the palette, but then I'm like, it's a lot of like muted purple or muted blue or muted greens, and I am not interested in that. So I'm just, I don't know. I'm not gonna pick that up. I just like my eyebrow skin just like moved last second, and I hate doing my brows sometimes because like influencers have really nice brows and mine are bushy, but they're like waxed so they don't look terrible. Like they're more like, they're not wild. There's more like, this hair's supposed to go here, not what's going on with all these hairs, you know? It's starting to get a little that way, but I've been trying to like keep up with it because I always hate whenever I go to get my hair done, like around that week, how awful my eyebrows look going, like before getting it done. I don't want to say that it looks bad after because it really doesn't, other than like the fact that my whole like skin around is like bright red because of all the waxing and stuff. But like, I don't know. There's like hairs. That's what I hate about eyebrows. Eyebrow gels and mascaras and stuff. Except there's hairs that like hang out. It's like, calm down. So yeah, there's all of that. There's a lot of P. Louise drama. I think Smoky Glow's gonna be doing a video about that, so that's exciting. They pretty much canceled themselves because they were racist, and now it's gonna be this big joke, but people are still gonna like use their products, which kind of like irritates me. But I don't know. I think that's a whole big mess. I think they kind of like, you know, if you're gonna do stuff like that, say stuff like that, you should be held accountable for it. I'm using the Jaclyn Hill palette. I thought I bought the original one, but whenever I like looked at the quality one day, I was like, maybe I have part 2 or like the second version, which is basically like the re-release of the first one. It's not the second palette because I'll show you what it looks like. These are the original colors from the original one, but whenever I was using it one day, it had like no color. Oh, I just dug my finger into one. That's nice. Oh, I hate when that happens. This one's brown. Oh man, it's gonna make my hair look like poop. Ew. But I was like using it one day and the colors like weren't doing anything, and I was like, well, this is nice. I have a bunch of colors that are acting like garbage, and I'm like, I just spent like 20 some dollars. I bought it on Poshmark, obviously, but I just spent like 20 some dollars on an eyeshadow palette that is like not cooperating. Okay, the top left shade, they have no names. On the front at least, they have no names. It's looking okay. You can tell it's just a, you know, light nude base to go over my primer. Look at my eye. Ew. That's fun. I was kind of bummed whenever I left work and the sun was already setting, because I feel like the sun is like just coming up whenever I go to work, and then I come home and the sun's setting and it's like, well, time for bed again, you know? I hate daylight savings. That's just, you know, just hate it. Just ready for March. I'm ready for it to, you know, I heard that daylight savings ends now and begins in March, so I guess I'm ready for it to begin. You know? I don't know. So yeah, and then I was driving home wanting to film, and I was like, yep, I'm not gonna have any natural light, just gonna have to film with a bunch of lights in my room and hope for the best, and it's just gonna be like studio lighting, if you can even call it that with what I have. That shade looks weird. I don't know. It looks almost like pearly. Yeah, it looks pearly, and I'm not sure if it's like my eyeshadow primer or what, because it's the Makeup Revolution one that I have. Only one of 2 that I use aside from concealer, which I don't typically like to use concealer, but on a night like this where I am just gonna like hang out at my apartment and like cook dinner, watch TV. I'm not really like expecting my makeup to look super great. But there's that. So it's different. I will say that. This color is working nice. It's a nice brown for my transition area. So selection stuff is getting a bit wild, but I can't say I'm surprised. Okay, let's have you sit properly. Let's stay. Don't move. Okay. So the election was yesterday, or at least when you vote was yesterday. I don't want to say the election was yesterday because it's still ongoing, which I don't understand, I guess, with like mail-in stuff, but it like still confuses me. My state was blue. Go Maryland. I voted blue, in case you were wondering. I am like appalled that the things I'm seeing on Twitter from a certain person, I'm sure you can guess, about the whole like, I'm not going to accept these results, I'm not going to take this. You know, it's just all this like very egotistical, like it's my way or the highway. And I hate when people do things like that. I don't want to get like too negative over here on this whole thing because like that's not the point. But it just like irritates me, the whole like I deserve everything, you know. It's like Willy Wonka and the, you know, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, you like both those movies and stuff. All the kids that are just like, I'm gonna get what I want, and it's all about me, and you're nothing, and like, who are you to judge me, and who are you to say these things and think that you're anything? And I hate that mentality, and I think that comes like from my like social work background. And you know, I went and voted and got kind of emotional standing at the polls. You know, I went out of my area because where I usually go to vote was no longer a voting place this year just because of like the whole virus stuff. So I had to find a place, which is really weird if you ask me, like having to like find a place. I'm just so used to it being my place. And they're like, can you go vote there? And it's like, you can vote anywhere that's a polling place in your county. And I even heard them over say at the place that I voted that there were people from out of state that voted, and they were just like, there was something with the system that they were able to do that and make it work. And I was like, you know, that's weird, but it's nice that that opportunity was available, that like they could still make those kind of like they could still kind of make that accommodation to those people. I guess that's what I want to say. I got really emotional looking at the ballot because, like, going into this, I knew for the longest time who I was going to vote for. I knew at least what side I was going to vote for. It didn't really matter who. It was more so, let's stop this person, not vote for this person kind of a deal, which kind of is sad because, like, you want to have someone that you're excited to vote for. I remember, you know, 3 elections ago, everybody was excited to go vote because, you know, you had a clear-cut person who you liked and both people weren't awful, and it was just kind of you're voting because of your views. And last election was my first election to vote in, which sucked. But and it was just like we have an obligation to vote for this specific person to make sure that this thing doesn't happen and this person doesn't get in office. And it just like, it's overwhelming. And I completely understand people that like freak out over voting and just are kind of like stressed about it and everything. Like, I totally get it. I feel you. It's a lot, and it's a lot to take on, and especially as like a first-time voter, I totally get the like stress of all of that. What is this shit? Oh, okay, we're gonna use that one instead. This is my first time really delving into the palette. I think it's working a lot better now. Maybe it was just something, I don't know. I feel like it's working okay. It's working good enough that I'm not having any issues in terms of like not wanting to use it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's working. Look at that. Woo. So anyway, and I just kind of like, it hit me that like we're making history. We're voting, you know, on the right side of things. We're voting for justice and for all of these, you know, like for people who can't vote, and we're voting for people's rights. And I mean, my election and well, my ballot, I don't want to get too much into it because my ballot, you know, like, I don't want to talk, you know, and get myself in trouble or anything, but like where I'm at, our like extra questions were like, do you want to keep funding going for these things and whatever? And it was like, yeah, you know, we'll keep these things going, and you know, everything's fine, the state's okay, like I don't find any issues with things that are going on. And the other one was, are we going to allow sports betting to help pay for like education and things? And I'm like, well, why the heck not? Like, you know, if it's going to give teachers and educators more pay, like, go for it. Like, I'm all here for it. And at least I didn't have to worry about like, you know, we didn't have any legalizing marijuana or, you know, cannabis in any form. We didn't have changing the flag because we're in a state that right now it's technically racist, and which is like, it's so cool to be on that part of history of like having that, to be able to make that decision. But for me, like, I'm kind of glad I didn't have to worry about that, because that's a lot of pressure, if that, you know what I mean? Like, just in my mind, it's a lot of pressure. But I'm really liking this palette. I'm excited. I'm kind of glad I bought this. Oh my gosh. Don't tell Morphe or Jacqueline I said that. But so yeah, I was kind of glad I didn't have to worry about that stuff. But I left there and I was like extra emotional, just kind of feeling overwhelmed with everything. I'd had a kind of rough day. I don't want to get into it here, but I was just, this train tonight is extra loud. Like, what the heck? But okay, that looks nice. So I was like extra emotional, and I just kept thinking, as a social worker, as someone who advocates on behalf of those who cannot, as someone who helps find resources for people who are struggling or who aren't in a good place or are going through some sort of crisis in their life, as a social worker who looks out for the people that can't always look out for themselves, that, you know, pushes for policies to change in favor of those who are struggling or are, you know, not able to do things as well as like most of us, if that makes sense. Like more, those who aren't quite as able as I am, if that makes sense, and in any kind of capacity. And it was so overwhelming. And I think it was one of those that like, I'm almost proud of myself from like thinking in that point of view. And I know there's going to be people out there who did not vote the same way I did, but are like, well, I think I did that. And, you know, that's, you know, I'm glad you think that way. That's just all I'm going to say about that there. But, I was just so like proud of myself that, you know, me voting was more so about those out there who could not vote, and, you know, all the things I've mentioned. And I just thought, this is what it means to me to be a social worker, is to help those who cannot help themselves and to be there for those who cannot, you know what I mean? Like, I voted, and I just kept thinking, I'm voting for all those children stuck in cages. I'm voting for parents who were taken from their children and sent to random, to, you know, where they had came from country-wise, and like immigrants and things, and people that were unrightfully, you know, evicted from our country, and or not allowed to come to our country, and people that don't have the same, you know, the same privileges I do. Because, you know, growing up, I had two parents that were, you know, they loved each other, they cared about each, I mean, they still do, but they loved each other, they cared about each other, they were able to get jobs very easily, they had no problems, there were no issues with neighbors other than just like, you know, just the casual stuff. There were never any problems preventing us from living our lives other than just our inability to do so, which, you know, not that we didn't, but it was just like, that's what I'm trying to, you know, get at. And those were the people, like, I was pretty much voting the opposite, you know, everyone that is not in that position. I was using my privilege as a white person and as a female, well, not so much as a female because we're not always the most like, but I was just using my privilege and my ability to stand up and vote and protect those who are unable to. And it's even making me a little emotional now, but I was just like, you know, that is what I feel is right. And I mean, it's okay if you don't feel the same way. It's okay if you didn't vote the same way. I mean, technically it's not, but, you know, that's up to you and that's your decision, and you're able to do those things and make those thoughts, you know, have those thoughts and things. But I was just so, like, proud that that's how I viewed, you know, voting and all of that. And can't say I was raised that way. I mean, I was raised to be a good person and to have good thoughts and good morals and good ethics and be a good person and care about those who aren't able to like provide for themselves as easily as I can. But I don't know. It's just, it's a lot right now, and I'm trying to stay off Twitter. I mean, I've been on Twitter to share my like political beliefs and stuff, but I'm trying to stay off Twitter. I'm trying not to look at the election stuff because it is what it is, and you know, I did my part, and whatever comes after this is out of my control. So I'm just gonna keep doing my makeup and keep advocating for those, and if things don't happen the way that I wanted them to, then I'm just gonna have to keep trying, and in 4 more years hopefully there will be a better person, and thank goodness we will not have 4 more years. Hopefully we won't at this point either. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share, and ring the bell so that way you get notified when I upload. I'm getting to the end of this can, and I'm like getting more and more sad because I don't want to support Morphe, but I want to get this again. It's a struggle. Why do brands have to be so complicated and so problematic and so awful as human beings, you know? Why can't they just put out good makeup and help people and help animals and donate to charity and like be good human beings, you know? Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, like, share, and comment on this video and whatnot. Subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified when I upload. Check out previous videos, stay tuned for others, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!